Did you know that the PS5 and Xbox Series X can both run games at 120 frames per second, while the Apple TV 4K is primarily designed for streaming content? The world of gaming has evolved significantly over the years, with various devices vying for our attention. Today, we're comparing three major players, the Apple TV 4K, PS5, and Xbox Series X, focusing on their gaming performance. These devices have carved out their own niches in the market, with distinct features and user bases. Apple, Sony, and Microsoft are the giants behind these devices. Apple is renowned for its sleek designs and user-friendly interfaces, while Sony and Microsoft have long dominated the gaming console market with their PlayStation and Xbox lines, respectively. The PS5 and Xbox Series X are relatively recent releases, boasting impressive specs and features. The Apple TV 4K is Apple's foray into the 4K streaming world, offering crisp visuals and access to a wide array of streaming services. However, its gaming capabilities are somewhat limited compared to dedicated gaming consoles. On the other hand, the PS5 and Xbox Series X are purpose-built for gaming, with the PS5 featuring a custom AMD Radeon Navi GPU and the Xbox Series X equipped with a custom AMD GPU. When we dive deeper into their specs, the PS5 and Xbox Series X both offer 10.3 teraflops of GPU power, while the Apple TV 4K's GPU is less focused on raw power for gaming. The PS5 and Xbox Series X also support ray tracing, 8K resolutions, and fast load times thanks to their SSD storage. In contrast, the Apple TV 4K focuses more on media consumption. The PS5 and Xbox Series X have libraries of games that cater to different tastes, from exclusive titles like God of War and Halo to cross-platform games. The Apple TV 4K, while having access to Apple Arcade, can't compete with the sheer volume and variety of games available on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. In terms of user interface, the Apple TV 4K excels with its intuitive TV OS, making it easy to navigate through apps and content. The PS5 and Xbox Series X also offer user-friendly interfaces but are more geared towards gamers with features like Quick Resume and Game Hubs. Gaming performance-wise, the PS5 and Xbox Series X clearly have the edge with their ability to run games at high frame rates and resolutions. The Apple TV 4K, while capable of some gaming, doesn't match the performance and breadth of game selection offered by its competitors. Below is a comprehensive comparison of gaming performance between Apple TV 4K, PlayStation 5 PS5, and Xbox Series X, covering hardware, gaming capabilities, graphics, frame rates, game libraries, and real-world performance. 1. Hardware architecture and gaming potential. Apple TV 4K. The Apple TV 4K current generation is not a traditional gaming console, it's a streaming/media player with an Apple Silicon chip repurposed for light gaming. Its CPU/GPU derived from Apple's mobile chips A15 series, designed for efficiency and general apps, not high-end gaming. CPU/GPU, A15 Bionic bin version, strong single-core CPU performance versus old consoles, but mobile-class GPU limited to modest graphics workloads. Memory, 4GB RAM, far less than consoles, suitable for smaller games and Apple Arcade but insufficient for modern AAA. Gaming support, Apple Arcade, some App Store games, cloud gaming, and streaming. Not native AAA titles at console-level fidelity. Real world, some console-like games can run, but they never approach PS5/Xbox visuals or performance. Summary, good for casual games, not a replacement for a gaming console. It's great for couch gaming of lighter titles and excellent at game streaming, but raw performance pales next to PS5/Xbox Series X. PlayStation 5 PS5. A true next-gen gaming console built from the ground up for modern games. CPU/GPU, custom AMD Zen 2 CPU plus RDNA 2 GPU 10.3 flops. Memory, 16GB GDDR6. Storage, ultra-fast custom SSD enabling virtually instant loading. Ray tracing, full hardware support. Frame rates and resolution, supports 4K at 60 to 120 FPS in many titles with quality versus performance modes. Games, extensive AAA library with strong exclusives like Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, and more. Summary, designed first for gaming, top-tier performance, rich exclusives, and deep developer support. Xbox Series X. Microsoft's flagship console with hardware tuned for both raw power and ecosystem. CPU/GPU, custom AMD Zen 2 CPU plus RDNA 2 GPU 12 flops. Memory, 16 GB GDDR6. Storage, 1 TB in SSD. Ray tracing and features, full support, with extensive backward compatibility. Frame rates and resolution, targets 4K/60 to 120 FPS in many AAA games. Games and ecosystem, Game Pass service brings huge library, better backward compatibility than PS5. Summary, slightly more raw power on paper than PS5 and excellent cross-generation support via Game Pass. 2. Gaming performance breakdown. Raw power console class. Apple TV 4K. Does not have GPU power close to console hardware. Even recent A-series mobile chips produce one flop at best in Apple TV context, orders of magnitude below PS5/Xbox Series X. Ideal for games similar to those on iPhone/iPad or Apple Arcade, not high-end AAA. PS5 vs Xbox Series X. Xbox Series X, 12 flops GPU and slightly higher memory bandwidth. PS5, 10.3 flops GPU but with ultra-fast SSD and strong optimization in many exclusives. Verdict, real-world benchmarks show both consoles run the same games with nearly identical performance in most cases. Differences are usually small single-digit FPS or resolution tweaks. Console performance consistently beats Apple TV by vast margins in every AAA context. Frame rates and resolution. Apple TV 4K. Limited titles, no support for 4K/120 FPS gaming, and many games cap at lower resolution/frames. PS5 and Xbox Series X. Many current AAA titles offer modes for 4K/60 FPS, 4K/120 FPS, or dynamic resolution scaling depending on performance versus graphics priority. Bottom line, if 4K/120 FPS is a target for gaming, consoles deliver. Apple TV does not in traditional game workloads. 3. Game libraries and ecosystems. Apple TV 4K. Focused on Apple Arcade, indie games, casual titles, and mobile ports. Limited AAA support, some developers may release versions for tvOS but often heavily scaled. Controller support includes Xbox/PlayStation controllers for Apple TV games. PS5. Massive catalog of blockbuster exclusives and multi-platform titles. Strong support from studios optimizing for PS hardware and SSD speed. PlayStation Plus expands library and adds online features. Xbox Series X. Equally robust library with emphasis on backward compatibility. Game Pass Ultimate gives access to AAA and indie games without buying each separately. Conclusion on games, Apple TV is nowhere near the consoles in terms of AAA offerings, depth, or developer support. 4. Unique strengths and use cases. Apple TV 4K, Pros. Excellent streaming/media device. Compact, energy-efficient 3 to 6W versus console 200W. Great for casual/light gaming, Apple Arcade. Works with popular controllers. Warning sign emoji, cons. Not built for high-end gaming. Limited AAA titles. PS5, Pros. Strong library of exclusive AAA games. Fast SSD with quick loading. Immersive features DualSense haptics, 3D audio. Excellent performance at 4K/60 to 120 FPS. Warning sign emoji, cons. Slightly less raw compute than Xbox Series X on paper. Xbox Series X, Pros. Slight edge in raw GPU power on paper. Best backward compatibility of the three. Game Pass ecosystem. Dolby Vision gaming support on compatible TVs. Warning sign emoji, cons. Fewer exclusive first-party AAA titles than PS5 though library is large. Summary, gaming performance verdict. If your goal is serious gaming. Xbox Series X, best for raw power plus Game Pass ecosystem. PS5, best for exclusives and optimized performance. If your goal is casual games plus streaming. Apple TV 4K, great media hub and casual gaming device. But it cannot truly compete with PS5/Xbox Series X gaming performance or AAA game support. Quick contrast gaming only. AAA gaming, PS5 Xbox Series X Apple TV 4K. Graphics and GPU power, Xbox Series X greater than PS5 Apple TV 4K. Exclusive titles, PS5 Xbox Series X Apple TV 4K. Ecosystem/game subscription, Xbox Series X Game Pass, PS5, PS Plus, Apple TV. Media Plus, Casual Play, Apple TV consoles. Final recommendation. You want high-end next-gen gaming at 4K/120 plus FPS? PS5 or Xbox Series X. You want all-around streaming plus casual gaming? Apple TV 4K. You want best value library with Game Pass? Xbox Series X. You prefer exclusive blockbuster games? PS5. Conclusion. I've had my fair share of gaming on each platform. On the PS5, I was impressed by the immersive experience of God of War Ragnarok. The Xbox Series X's backward compatibility was a major win for me, allowing me to replay old favorites. Apple Arcade on the Apple TV 4K offered some unique gaming experiences, but the selection and graphics quality lagged behind. The PS5 and Xbox Series X are clearly superior for hardcore gamers seeking high-performance gaming. However, for casual gamers or those interested in a more streamlined, user-friendly experience, the Apple TV 4K might suffice. If you're looking for raw gaming power and a vast library of games, the PS5 or Xbox Series X might be your best bet. For a more relaxed gaming experience or access to exclusive Apple titles, the Apple TV 4K could be worth considering. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these platforms. Share your experiences in the comments below. If you're interested in more tech and gaming content, be sure to check out our next video on the latest advancements in gaming technology.